Bride leaving her recently bombed home to get married, London, November 4, 1940. Brooklyn Supreme, the biggest horse ever. Dutch people in traditional clothing, 1900. Former beauty queen, Miss Wyoming winner 1973 Joyce McKinney being arrested by police after kidnapping Mormon missionary Kirk Anderson from his church, forcing him to be her sex slave for 3 days, 1977. 19-year-old Jim Carrey and his unique method of hitchhiking, 1981. A 1934 staged photo by photographer A.L. Whitey Schaefer, mocking the Hays movie censorship code by violating as many of its rules as possible in a single image. Chevrolet Corvette split window, 1963. The Golden Gate Bridge opening to the public for the first time back in 1937. And yes, it almost collapsed. A crowd of about 4,000 Nazi sympathizers, some with their children, protest outside Landsberg prison, demanding amnesty for the hundreds of Nazi war criminals being held there. When Jewish people counter-protested, the crowd chanted Nazi-era slogans and attacked them. West Germany, 1951. A Beautiful Woman and Her Irish Wolfhound from 1974. A couple dancing at Tiananmen Square before the tanks rolled in, 1989. African-American protester in Chicago, 1941. Actress Veronica Lake with her hair twisted in a drill press, demonstrating potential dangers to women in factories during World War II, November 9, 1943. An actual photo of Theodore Roosevelt and John Murray Yosemite, 1903. Anti-Vietnam War protest, 1969. Arnold Schwarzenegger meeting his fans in Moscow, 1988. African Americans in Harlem volunteering to go to Ethiopia and fight to save Africa's last uncolonized nation from fascist Italian dictator Mussolini. Almost all volunteers were blocked from leaving by the U.S. government. Few managed to go to Ethiopia. Summer 1935. First day of first grade, a kid with his mother, 1974. Gary Anderson, the guy who, at age 23, designed the recycling logo for a contest in 1970. Incredibly sharp-looking kids in Harlem, 1970. Ruth Lee, a hostess at a Chinese restaurant, flies a Chinese flag so she isn't mistaken for Japanese on her days off in Miami, in the wake of the attack on Pearl Harbor, December 15, 1941. Jack Nicholson getting hyped up before shooting that scene in The Shining, 1980. Japanese raincoat, early 1900s. Johnny Cash shaking an inmate's hand at Folsom Prison, 1968. When flower sellers realized women were using their sacks to make clothes for their children, flour mills of the 1930s started using flowered fabric for their sacks, 1939. Lady and her horse on a snowy day in 1899. Lebanon pre-Civil War, Byblos, 1965. These people look so happy and carefree. Lyndon Johnson listening to a tape from his son-in-law, sent from Vietnam, 1968. 27 May 1942. An assassination of Reinhard Heydrich. The Architect of Holocaust, was undertaken by Joseph Gabčík and Jan Kubis in Prague, making it one of the few successful assassinations of a high-profile Nazi during the World War II. Old school public shaming in Times Square, 1955. If you look closely, you will just be able to make out Shaq in his 1989 high school basketball team photo. Pink Floyd plays in Venice, 1989. Former President Ronald Reagan doffs his baseball cap, exposing his partially shaved head before the applause of well-wishers who saw him off at the airport in Rochester, Maine, September 15, 1989. Receptionist waits at her desk. General Motors Technical Center, 1965. Robert Plant signing the first Zeppelin album for a policeman in the early 80s. Men of Easy Company after capturing Hitler's Eagle's Nest, 1945. Hedy Lamarr became a movie star, got bored, then got into science. Helped the Allies during World War II, developing spread spectrum/frequency hopping technology. Her work created basis of modern Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, 1940. Stealing a drink of wine at a wedding while parents are looking, 1987. That's What Irony Is, 1966. The inventor of the Super Soaker, circa early 1980s. On November 12, 1928, the Banana Massacre occurred in Santa Marta, Colombia. Approximately 2,000 workers of the United Fruit Company were killed while demanding decent working conditions. This 4-H kid, so stoked for a Ghostbusters toy from his mom that he went full derp. This guy lighting himself a cigarette in a double-exposure self-portrait, 1950s. Woman and a veteran embrace at the dedication ceremony of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, 1982.